It was my sophomore year at a college in Ohio. I lived in one of those older dorm buildings, narrow hallways, flickering yellow lights, and doors that creaked, like they hadn't been replaced since the 70s. My roommate was out of town for the weekend, which left me alone in the room for the first time since the semester began. At first, I liked the idea of it. I could stay up late, watch movies, order food without worrying about bothering anyone. That night, I stayed up past midnight watching random videos on my laptop with the lights off. The room was quiet except for the faint hum of the radiator and the occasional sound of people talking in the distance. By around 3 a.m., I was still awake when I heard a knock at the door. It was soft. 3 slow taps. I froze. Dorm policy was strict. Visitors weren't allowed past midnight unless they signed in with the RA. And even if it was someone who lived there, no one would be knocking on doors at 3 in the morning. I waited, hoping it was just a mistake. But then, after a long silence, I heard it again. 3 knocks. Slow. Deliberate. I got up and walked to the door. My footsteps almost louder than I wanted them to be on the old wooden floor. My heart was racing as I leaned toward the peephole. That's when I saw it. Someone was standing there, but their face wasn't visible. It was pressed up against the doorframe, angled away from the peephole. All I could make out was the outline of their head and part of their shoulder. They weren't moving, just standing there. I backed away. My stomach dropped. "Who is it?" I called, trying to sound calm. Silence. I stood there, gripping my phone, debating whether I should call security. Then the handle began to rattle. Slowly at first, then harder, like someone was testing if it was unlocked. I panicked and yelled, "Go away!" But the rattling didn't stop. It got louder, more frantic, until I thought the handle might break. My hands were shaking as I dialed campus security. And the second I did, the rattling stopped. For a few seconds, there was complete silence. Then, I heard footsteps. Slow, dragging footsteps moving down the hallway, fading into the distance. When security finally arrived about 10 minutes later, the hall was empty. No one had been signed in that night. And when they checked the cameras in the building, there was no sign of anyone on my floor at that time. The RA swore nobody had been around. That night, I barely slept. I kept the lights on and stayed awake until the sun came up. But the next morning, as I left for class, I noticed something that still gives me chills to this day. On the outside of my door, scratched deep into the wood with something sharp, were 3 words: "Let me in." This happened during my freshman year at a college in Pennsylvania. I shared a small dorm room with another girl named Emily. We weren't best friends, but we got along well enough. She spent most nights with her boyfriend off campus, which gave me the room to myself a lot of the time. One night, around 1 a.m., I was lying in bed scrolling on my phone. The hallways were unusually quiet. Usually, I'd hear people laughing, music playing faintly, or doors opening and closing. But that night, it felt like the whole floor was empty. Emily walked in. I heard her drop her keys on the desk and kick off her shoes. She didn't say anything, but that wasn't unusual. Sometimes we both just went straight to bed. I watched her silhouette cross the room in the dim light. She climbed into her bed, pulled the blanket over herself, and after a few minutes, I could hear her steady breathing. Relieved, I turned my phone off and tried to fall asleep. The sound of her quiet breathing actually made me feel less alone. But when I woke up the next morning, I froze. Emily's bed was perfectly made, like no one had touched it. Confused, I checked my phone. That's when I saw a text from Emily. It was sent around 11:30 p.m. the night before. It read, "Hey, I'm staying at my boyfriend's tonight. Don't wait up." My blood ran cold. I saw her come in. I heard her. I listened to her breathing. But according to that text, she had never come back. I tried to brush it off, telling myself maybe I had just dreamed it. Maybe I was so used to her routine that my brain tricked me. But later that morning, as I packed up my things for class, I noticed something on her desk. A small folded piece of paper that hadn't been there the night before. I picked it up, expecting it to be one of her notes. But inside, in messy handwriting, were 6 chilling words. You shouldn't sleep with the door unlocked. Emily swore she hadn't left it. The handwriting didn't match hers. And the dorm cameras showed no one coming into our room that night. I still don't know what I saw, or who, or what was in that bed across from me. Those were two terrifying true college dorm room horror stories at night. Which story scared you the most? Comment below, and don't forget to subscribe for more true horror stories.